In a desolate warehouse, a man in a suit and a woman in red look down at an injured girl in a tattered white dress. The girl struggles on the ground, her face smeared with dirt and blood. The woman in red smirks, leaning into the man as a fire burns nearby. The injured girl glares up, shouting in defiance. The woman in red whispers something cruel, her expression mocking. The girl's face fills with betrayal as the man speaks, a cold smile playing on his lips. The woman in red steps forward, kicking a flaming object. The girl flinches back in pain. The woman kneels, taunting her victim. The injured girl's face contorts with grief and rage. She screams a curse. Enraged, the woman in red lunges forward, grabbing the girl's throat. As she's being choked, the girl's hand desperately searches the ground, closing around a sharp object. Suddenly, the woman in red cries out, clutching her shoulder in pain. The man stares in shock. The girl has struck her. A broken, triumphant smile spreads across the girl's bloody face. She looks at them with pure hatred. The injured woman cries out to the man, but he stays frozen. The girl pulls out a lighter, her eyes burning with vengeance. She flicks it open, tossing it into the darkness. The entire warehouse erupts in a massive fireball. Suddenly, the girl gasps awake. She's in a bright hotel room. On the floor lies a man with a bloody head wound, a trophy beside him. She stares in shock, realizing this is the scene of the crime she was framed for. Her expression shifts from confusion to cold determination. She's been given a second chance. The girl scrambles to her feet. She grabs the trophy from the floor, quickly wiping it clean with a tissue. She places it carefully on the coffee table, then sprints to the window. She climbs out onto a narrow ledge, inching her way along the side of the building. Meanwhile, a man in a gray robe ties his belt. The girl reaches another window, trying to force it open, but she slips. She groans in pain. Looking up in shock, the man in the robe stands over her, arms crossed, an amused smirk on his face. She stares up at him, stunned into silence. He kneels down, tilting her chin up with his fingers. Her eyes widen as he leans in close. Suddenly, shouting erupts from outside the door. The girl's face floods with panic. Scrambling to her feet, she darts into a side room, hiding just as the shouting gets louder. The man watches her go. Hiding in the bathroom, the girl presses her ear against the wall, listening intently. A group of people enter the suite, including police officers, the man in the suit, and the woman in the beige dress from the warehouse. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes from the other room. Startling everyone, the man in the suit points toward the bathroom, alerting the police. The girl panics, looking for an escape. Just as the police approach, suddenly, the girl emerges from the bathroom. Wrapped only in a white towel, she walks slowly toward the man in the robe, a shy smile on her face. The man in the suit and the woman in beige stare in disbelief. The man in the robe stands up, and the girl wraps her arms around him, whispering in his ear. He puts his arm around her waist, pulling her close, then kisses her passionately. The man in the suit glares at them. The woman in beige looks on, her expression a mixture of shock and betrayal as she clutches a necklace. The woman in beige glares at the girl, then turns to the police officer, her face a mask of innocence. The man in the robe calmly denies her accusations. The police officer looks skeptical. The girl's eyes dart between them, feigning confusion. The woman in beige becomes more agitated, her voice rising in desperation. The girl smirks, then pulls out her phone, showing a text message to the police. The officer takes the phone, his expression turning serious. He then asks the woman in beige for her phone. She hesitates, her eyes wide with panic, but reluctantly hands it over. The officer compares the two phones, his brow furrowed in concentration. He looks up at the woman in beige, his expression grim, then tells her she needs to come with them. The man in the suit tries to intervene, but the officer motions for them to leave. As they are escorted out, the girl turns to the man in the robe, a grateful smile on her face. She tries to leave, but he stops her, his eyes intense. He leans in close, his voice a low murmur. The girl's smile falters, replaced by a look of apprehension. He questions her motives, his gaze unwavering. The girl looks down, clutching her towel tighter, a flicker of fear in her eyes. The girl in the towel clutches her phone, looking up at the man in the robe with pleading eyes. He listens intently, his expression unreadable. She continues to speak, her face a mix of fear and desperation. He looks away, considering her words, then asks a question. She confirms it. Her eyes downcast, he nods slowly, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. The girl looks up at him, stunned by his trust. He gives a slight nod. Just as her phone vibrates in her hand, her expression shifts to dread. A painful memory flashes back. 3 years earlier, she arrives at her family home with a suitcase. Looking lost and defeated, the housekeeper greets her with surprise. Inside, her father sits with her sister and her fiancé. The two of them hold hands. The girl watches from the doorway, her heart breaking. Her father announces a shocking secret, revealing her sister is his true daughter. The girl outside trembles, realizing her entire life has been a lie. Her fiancé smiles at her sister, promising her the world. The family celebrates, while the girl stands alone in the shadows, her world collapsing. Back in the present, she answers the call. Her expression instantly hardens into cold fury. She clenches her jaw, then turns and storms out of the room, without a word. The girl turns to leave, but the man slams his hand against the door, trapping her. He leans in close, their faces inches apart. He speaks with a low, intense voice. She looks down, then meets his gaze. A flicker of defiance in her eyes. He pulls back, releasing her. She fumbles with the handle and quickly escapes. The man watches her go, then picks up his phone and makes a call. In a chaotic hospital, a mob of reporters swarms a man in scrubs. On the phone with the girl gives instructions, her face cold and calculating. The reporter's eyes widen in surprise. Then she nods, hanging up and rushing out of the hospital. She arrives outside a police station just as the girl's sister and the fiancé are led out of a car by an officer. The reporter hides, raises her camera and starts snapping. The girl watches her sleeping mother in a hospital bed, a tear rolling down her cheek. She returns to her family home, walking through the empty rooms. She picks up a framed photo of herself and her mother, smiling sadly. Her phone buzzes with a message from the reporter. The girl reads it, a determined look on her face. She opens a news app. Her sister's scandal is the top story. Meanwhile, the sister sits on the couch with her mother, panicking as she reads the news on her phone. Their father stares out the window, his back to them. The mother tries to comfort her daughter, then walks over to her husband. He turns around, his face grim. The sister cries out in fear, begging her parents for help. The father's expression hardens. He announces a plan to hold a press conference, declaring his daughter's innocence. Later that night, the man in the robe stands by his window. A memory of the girl flashes in his mind. He gets a call from his assistant, who has sent him the information he requested. He hangs up, then receives an email. He opens it, and his eyes widen in shock as he reads the contents. The girl spoons soup into her mother's mouth. The mother smiles, praising her daughter's cooking. The girl reassures her, stroking her cheek. Her phone rings, and she steps aside to answer it. It's the reporter. The girl listens with a cold expression, then hangs up. She goes to her old room, pulling a decorative box from under the bed. She sits on the bed and opens it, revealing old photos and letters from her ex-fiancé. She looks at a photo of them together, her face filled with disgust, then tosses it aside. She reads old love letters, her expression hardening with each word. She opens a small red box containing a necklace, a gift from him. Looking at her phone, on the screen, her ex-fiancé is at the press conference kissing her sister's hand. Suddenly, a car screeches to a halt just inches from her. She falls to the ground, scattering the contents of the box. She picks up the photo of her and her ex, her eyes filling with tears as a memory of a happier time flashes before her eyes. He gives her a gift, and she hugs him, smiling brightly. Back in the present, she clutches the photo. A black car pulls up, and the man from the hotel looks out the window at her, his expression unreadable. A chaotic scene unfolds as reporters swarm the entrance of a building. The girl arrives, holding the box of memories. She tries to get through the crowd, but is blocked by security. Suddenly, the man in the suit appears. He pulls her out of the pushing crowd, shielding her with his body. He asks if she's okay. A man in a gray suit greets the man in the dark suit, scolding the security guards for blocking him. The man in the dark suit ignores him, telling the guards to let the girl in. He walks up the stairs, his bodyguards following close behind. Inside, the press conference is underway. The girl's father is at the podium, defending his other daughter, claiming the girl is the one trying to ruin their lives. Suddenly, the girl walks in, holding the box. The room falls silent as all eyes turn to her. Her sister feigns innocence. The reporters start whispering amongst themselves. The sister begins to cry, playing the victim. The ex-fiancé puts his arm around her. The sister warns the girl to stay silent, but she ignores her, standing defiantly. The father orders security to remove her, but just as they approach, the man in the dark suit enters. He glares at the guards, who immediately back away. The girl looks at him, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. The man in the suit stands beside the girl, his presence commanding. He addresses the room, his voice calm but firm. The sister looks terrified, whispering frantically to her fiancé. The girl watches them, a small smirk playing on her lips. She places the box on the table. The sister panics, trying to stop her, but the man in the suit intervenes, silencing her with a single look. The sister recoils. Defeated, the girl addresses her sister, then turns to her ex-fiancé, her voice filled with newfound strength and contempt. She speaks of betrayal and lost dignity. The sister cries out, but the girl is unfazed. She declares that she will expose the truth, that her sister is the real homewrecker. With a final dramatic gesture, she throws the contents of the box into the air. The reporters gasp. The reporters erupt into a frenzy, swarming the sister and her fiancé, shouting questions. The girl walks away from the chaos, a small smile on her face. She tells her sister to enjoy the spotlight. The sister pleads with her fiancé, her face a mask of desperation. He looks at her, his expression cold, then turns to the reporters. He confesses everything, admitting he cheated on the girl with her sister, taking all the blame. The sister stares at him in disbelief. As the reporters' cameras flash relentlessly, the man in the suit waits outside the building. The girl emerges, a relieved expression on her face. They stand facing each other, a moment of silence between them. Her phone rings, interrupting the quiet. She answers, her face paling as she listens to the news. She hangs up, and the man grabs her wrist, offering to drive her. She hesitates, then agrees. They rush to the hospital together. A doctor meets them in the hallway, explaining that her mother needs immediate surgery. The girl is shocked by the cost, her face filled with despair. She pleads with the doctor, but he insists. Suddenly, the man in the suit steps forward, handing a credit card to the doctor. They wait outside the operating room. The girl paces nervously, wringing her hands. The man sits calmly. Watching her, he tries to reassure her, but she's lost in her worries. Finally, the operating room doors open. The doctor emerges, announcing the surgery was a success. The girl thanks him. The man watches her, a gentle smile on his face. He stands up and offers her his business card. He turns and walks away, leaving her to stare after him, a thoughtful expression on her face.